Hi, this video is gonna be about this unassuming mall crawling overlanding vehicle that goes to Starbucks. It's about the 8.2 rear diff from a 2016 Toyota 4Runner with KDSS. So how did that axle fit, and how did it have to be modified in order to fit the rear sway bar? So we'll go under the truck and we'll show you some of the changes that had to be made. These are some of the things that I always wondered what needed to be done in order to fit a KDSS 8.2 E-Locked rear axle into a GX470. Since I wanted to keep my heavy-duty rear sway bar, this is the Non-KDSS 24mm rear sway bar, and it's in the middle setting here. It has 3 holes where you can connect it to, and it's in the middle one. If you go to the inner connection, inner hole, it makes the sway bar more stiff and more firm. So I put it in the middle, so that's like medium, and if you put it on the outside hole, then it would be a more loose sway bar. But I wanted it at least to try it in the medium setting. And when I upgraded the rear differential, one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to keep my rear sway bar. So in order to fit the sway bar onto a KDSS version of the 8.2 rear axle, you have to fab these brackets here to hold the sway bar. So these are the sway bar brackets, and it had to be fabbed. So these were added. And as you can see over here, these are the brackets that hold the KDSS sway bar. So obviously I don't have KDSS, so that's not being used, but these are the brackets that come from the KDSS 8.2 rear differential from a 2016. And one of the things that I had to do, or that I did to make sure this was a that you can check to make sure this is an 8.2 rear diff, is that you have to look at the bolts right here. These bolts are 14mm. So the 8.2 has 14mm bolts, whereas the 8.0 original stock axle has 12mm bolts. And I checked them all. And then let's go to the other side. And again, there's the custom bracket that needed to be added. And there's the stock KDSS brackets, which are not in use anymore. All right, I'm parked to my son, next to my son's 1996 Toyota Land Cruiser 80 Series. And I drove that for a few years, like 10 years, before I gave it to him when he went to college. But getting back to the GX470, let's get underneath the truck one more time. And the other thing that I want to talk about are the axles. So the wheel hubs and the wheel bearings and the calipers were retained from my stock 8.0 axle housing. I think we kept them because when they bought the 8.2 lock, it didn't come with its own axles, and so basically they just took them off my original 8.0 housing and put them in here. So these are the original calipers, rotors, and brake pads and wheel bearings from my stock one. So that's the other thing. And they also kept the they transferred over the IM Keith pan hard correction bracket, so you can see it right there. So anyways, these were the modifications and the changes that were done to fit that 2016 Toyota 4Runner E-Locked 8.2 axle housing. I also had the shop that did this work, they re-geared, so it is not running in 4.56 revolution gears, front and rear. And so hopefully these changes help some of you who are trying to figure out how to fit an axle from a Toyota 4Runner or a Toyota FJ Cruiser into a GX470. I had a lot of these questions and I didn't know what was possible, and there's a lot of different choices for 8.2 axle housings. There's the ones that have a 3.91 gear ratio, there are the ones that have a 373 gear ratio, and there's also ones that are locked, some that are not locked, some with KDSS, some not with KDSS. So you have to sift through all those different variations of 8.2 axles and then pick one that can be used for your needs. Again, in this particular video, I just wanted to show you what I did, what ended up happening to fix or to basically swap out an 8.2 E-Locked rear axle from a KDSS Toyota 4Runner. So that's what ended up happening. This is what I did, and this is what I'm now running. All right, hopefully this is useful to some of you that are looking for information on how to do this.